All right, welcome to a new week of online schooling. If you look at your calendar, we're in the middle of May. As far as we know, school's going until June something. I haven't got an official end date. The way I look at it, we have probably about 4 weeks to go. Two of those weeks will be 5-day weeks. Two will have shortened with Memorial Day and finals, air quotes. So we're just going to keep going through the content, trying to learn as much as we can about government, so you guys don't, fall behind. Your future classes are going to expect you to know some things to make connections to theirs. So the more lessons you expose yourself, the more time you spend bettering yourself and gaining knowledge, the better you'll be. We've just finished up our judicial branch. Hopefully you learned a lot about the court systems and how they function. We have courts here in Snow Hill. There's courts in Salisbury. There's obviously the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. There's different levels to handle the different types of crimes and determining what will happen. And it's very organized. It took us a long time to get that organization, but hopefully through all the different assignments and readings, you realize that if you commit this type of crime or that type of crime, you go to these different courts so that they handle them and try to figure out the right solution. In addition, you looked at several assignments that dealt specifically with crimes. There's crimes against the government and law. So like if you commit a crime that is an obvious crime, like murder, it's you versus the government. The government said murder is a crime, so it's the government versus you. Then there's civil crimes, and that is disputes amongst citizens. That's typically going to be where one citizen says, you have done something wrong to me, so I'm going to sue you in a court of law, and then judgments are determined. Then you looked at, hopefully, the landmark Supreme Court cases. I asked you to look at two, just to kind of get a sense of the importance our Supreme Court decisions and what it does for our society. When they make a decision, it becomes what's known as case law. So just like our Congress can debate and discuss what laws we need, Supreme Court can say, all right, based off our decision, this is now how this is going to be. All right, moving on. This week we're going to specifically look at foreign policy, and it's going to be a 1-week unit. It's just going to be from Monday through next Monday, because Monday's a holiday. So I'll give you the 7 days, and we won't start new content until next Tuesday. When you look at foreign policy, there's really two concepts about how a country looks at the rest of the world outside our own borders. So obviously we have Canada to our north, Mexico to our south, islands in the Caribbean, but then there are hundreds upon hundreds of countries all over the world, and we all coexist on the same planet. So the question becomes, how do we interact with those other countries and their governments? All right. Can we as citizens simply just go to those countries? Are we safe when we go there? Are their laws similar to ours? What will our government do to protect us if we go there? And then bigger things like war, alliances, who's on whose side, who will protect you. So for us, the United States of America, for our first 150 years, so in the late 1700s, we became a nation. Through the 1800s, we were still developing who we were. We were struggling to find, our identity. We were still just adding states and expanding our borders. We fought a civil war. A lot was going on where, in terms of what is the rest of the world doing, we didn't have the resources to care. So we isolated ourselves and we focused just on the United States of America and making ourselves better. Then we reached a point where we expanded our boundaries to the extent that we were going to, and then we just focused on perfecting ourselves as a nation, making things better for everybody. Once we hit that point, and it was really around World War II, we realized, all right, we got ourselves in a position where we're one of the top countries in the world. We can now expand our sort of mission and try to influence the rest of the world, and that's called internationalism. So it's a back and forth ebb and flow of, okay, at this moment in history, we got to focus on America. And then if you focus on America too long, the rest of the world can, get out of hand, or, even scientifically move ahead of us if we're not working with them. And this would be a great example right now with this pandemic. If we isolate and someone else comes up with a vaccine and we're not working with them, they save their citizens, we don't. All right, if we expand internationalism too much and get involved in too many people's problems and issues, then we usually, unfortunately, don't worry enough about ourselves and our own problems, and we can see our issues become worse. So it's a back and forth with our foreign policy, and we're just going to try to expose you to different definitions, terms, and ideas of how all of this works. So I'm going to do a short video for each assignment this week, and I'm going to post the videos with each assignment. So in the foreign policy folder, you'll see students will use the internet to find the best explanation or definition for each of the 5 goals of foreign policy. So this is assignment 1. Open, download, save. It's a basic chart with terms on the left. These are the 5 goals. You're going to find a definition online. You're going to find some examples, and you're going to type them into these boxes. So if you go, this is a basic internet research. So if you go here and you say, all right, national security definition, you can read these websites. I jumped right over here to the right and found a decent definition. Every time you search these out, just manipulate the words that your choices you're going to make until you find a definition you are satisfied with. Type it in. Then for examples, I typed in national security examples. I read through this. I scrolled down to people also ask, and that is where I found my best answer for this one. What are national security threats? Threats would be examples. So the top 5 threats to national security are, according to National Defense Magazine, biological weapons, nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, climate change, and transnational crimes such as drug trafficking and arms smuggling. So you find your answers to the 5 goals of foreign policy: national security, economic well-being, world peace, spread of democracy, and humanitarian relief / promote human rights. So for each one of these, you do the research and you find the best definition you can find. What does it mean? And then find some examples that are happening currently in the world. Once you have done that completely, you'll upload this and submit it right back here to over here for you. You'll see submissions, submit it right back to goals, and you are done. All right. Once you've done that, move on to the next assignment. I will have the video posted for instructions there.